Thank you for joining me for communicating with families using technology. Hi, everybody. I am Meg Ormiston. Feel free to jot down that email so you can reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm really happy to help. Why? Why should we communicate? Because it's essential for student success. We have to make sure it doesn't stop at the elementary. We have to continue to communicate between home and school, and we now have new ways to do it using technology. Newsletters go back way in the day. I love this one. Served this one up to me today. This is an old one, it looks like. And we've made newsletters. I spent many years in the classroom and tried to get that newsletter out every Friday. Hopefully, it got out Monday morning, and we copy and we cut and paste and make newsletters. So newsletters aren't new. But then we started to kind of merge over to an online newsletter instead of stuffing them in bags. And so that for some people, it became part of their website. For some school districts, it would become part of the page for the teacher. They're all different configurations. Some pretty, some not so pretty, but newsletters are still around, and a lot of people are still using newsletters. But what I want to do is I want to kind of go beyond the newsletter. And believe me, I just did a search on school newsletters. There's a lot, and there's a lot of variety. But then a lot of people moved to websites. They had their own classroom website, and that instead of sending home the paper copy, many teachers put information on their websites. Here's one example. There's a parent portal for Power School and so on and so forth. So there's information there. There's information here that we can get out to families. But is it really reaching the families? Are they going out to each individual teacher's website to get the communication? We don't know because we don't have detailed analytics like Google does. So we're not sure if the information actually was reaching. And that's a lot of work. If you look through those examples, there's a lot of work that went into these. And so, but are we really reaching parents? And that's the key. I'm telling you, I found some websites that were, not very attractive. But here is one, and this is links to all different information related to this class. But imagine if you have a son or daughter in a high school or middle school setting. Are you going to jump between everybody's website? So how do we make it easier? Well, then along comes email, and we decide we'll email the newsletters to all our parents, and again, they will read our joyous celebrations from our classroom. Again, we don't know how many of those emails are open, and maybe do they open them at the beginning of the school year and then kind of say, oh, I don't need to know that. So email, I don't know if it helped us. I don't know. And we don't know. So now, another strategy a lot of school districts use is the homework hotline. So here's what's happening in a lot of schools. First of all, you're still doing your newsletter because your administrator expects you to do that. So you're sending them the print. You have it on your website. Now you have to call in homework every day before 3:30. Wow, that's a lot of repetition. How can we use technology to help us? The how. How. Now, in this segment, I'm going to give you a lot of ideas. I don't want you to take every single one. I want you to really drill in and pick out one or two strategies that you want to try over the next couple months. Well, Power School and, oh gosh, there's so many of them. Student management systems, these are called. Names. There's so many different names. But what they're designed for is that the parent has a login and the student has a login, but they can see the grades of the students. Not full communication, but it is one way that parents can kind of keep looking at and checking kind of on student work, especially what's missing and what's not. Power School, when it came in, people did not like the idea, the whole concept that parents could see into their grade book. But by now, most people have kind of resigned to the fact that this is a reality of teaching today. So these are student management systems, and whatever brand or name you have, that's one way to communicate with families. But we got to remember that's not the only way to communicate. So This is one that might be new to you. It used to be called Remind 101, and now it's just called Remind. And I love this because what you can do as a teacher, once you make an account, you give the code to your students as well as their parents, and you can blast out messages to them. Why do I love this? Because they can't blast back to you. It's a one-way communication system. Instead of when you send out an email, a handful of your parents will send, "Oh, thanks so much. Have a great week. How's your dog?" All of that stuff. What I love about Remind is boom, here's the information. Remind's added some really nice features, including a way to add attachments. So don't forget tonight's homework. Here, is this. You can attach the this. So if your student didn't bring home the document, now the parent has it. So it's wonderful. It's wonderful resource. It's free. You just sign up and then you go. And I was really surprised when I was getting ready for this presentation. I was really surprised to see 1 in 5 teachers are using it. I actually thought the number was a little bit higher. So I really encourage you to do this. It's a quick blast and it's great. A lot of coaches use this also. Hey, rain delay, and here's the information. I like the one-way broadcast. Communicating, it is all about communicating. So again, don't think you're going to leave this segment trying everything. Pick and choose. Some people are using a learning management system. That's what these are called. And learning management systems come in all different names: Schoology, Canvas, Edmodo, Blackboard. A new one this is Edmodo. And Edmodo, what's great about Edmodo is there's the teacher can add the assignments and kind of manage the class. The students can communicate. There's usually like a chat room, almost like a Facebook wall kind of thing. And there's all different ways the students can interact. But the cool part is they've added this parent portal. The parents can come in and see only the work of their student. So they can't see what everybody else is doing. But the parent immediately, son or daughter is home ill, they can actually come in and see what's going on in the class and participate in real time. So these learning management systems are really powerful. And this is a new one. I'm really excited. I met Chris right there, and he is one of the founders of this Otis Learning Management Network, they call it. And it is free, and it has so much of what I love about all the learning management platforms. But what they're building now is they're building the analytics part. And we won't get all fancy in tech, but that's really the behind the scenes data management that the learning management systems up to this point have been missing. And so this one, I'm just so excited to keep my eyes on it. So sign up for it. Keep your eye on this one. I'm excited to see what happens when we finally get all our data in one place. I'm excited about that. Now, I'm not making fun of however you're communicating now with email, with newsletters, websites, but people more and more today want short shots of information. And social media is a great way to reach your families. And one of the reasons social media works so well is people love pictures. They love pictures. Back in the day, okay, sorry, maybe still doing newsletters, you might add 1 or 2 pictures, but you can't add hundreds because it would just be too expensive to reproduce. Now, use social media. You can snap pictures all day because you're not consuming any materials as you're sharing. This is a principal in New York, Tony. I love watching what he's doing with social media. It's so fun to watch what's happening in his classrooms, even though I'm in another part of the country. And short shots. He walks around, snaps pictures. His teachers are snapping pictures. But this is what parents, grandparents, extended families, this is what they crave. So when they get home, the students get home, they say, "Oh, I saw what you did in science today." Or, tell me more about what that happened. It gives an introduction and another way to communicate. A lot of people are reluctant to use social media, and they don't think we can communicate in 140 characters. Those little pictures, that's what parents want to see. So make sure that you think about this. Now, there's another segment that we did completely on Twitter for teachers. So you might want to go back and do that so you can see how to use social media in this way. Now, here's the greatest thing. You can archive what's going on your social media. So it becomes a long-term newsletter of everything you've done throughout the year. What a great way to create a portfolio of the great things that you're doing with students. This is Storify. Storify is a website that's free that you can sign up for, and all you have to do is you have to remember to archive. So, before you leave on Friday, just archive your tweets for the week, and then you just say, here are we, May 29th, here's the week of May 29th, and all of the tweets that you have created that week are archived right on this website, which is great. So you take your great pictures that you've shared all week, but then you build them into your portfolio. So here's a fantastic teacher in Berwyn, Illinois, and she's just share. Her parents love it. We talked about it when I saw her a few weeks ago, and her parents just love to stay in the loop, know what's going on, and they don't use, because they use Twitter so much, they don't use create paper newsletters anymore. I thought that was interesting. Here is an entire team that's collaborating to share information, and I thought that's another way to go ahead and do that. If you've ever had a seventh grader, it is very difficult to, when you ask the question, so what did you do today? Well, now you can ask very specific questions because you have more information. Twitter. If you're not there yet, try to carve out some time. Get on Twitter. It's not only my number one source of personal professional development, I think it is absolutely essential to your communication strategy with your families. I would, on curriculum night, say, follow us on Twitter. Right there, have people sign up and follow. It can't be your only communication, though, because a lot of people still don't understand Twitter or see the purpose. So you might have to use some other strategies also. Now, this is what I'm going to learn next, and I am very excited. This is Periscope, and it is, I don't even really understand it enough to explain it yet, so I just have to play more. But it is an app that you download, and then you connect it to your Twitter feed, and then it is a live broadcast of what's happening. So last week, a principal shared that they were doing some professional development. They were going to use Periscope to broadcast the session and all the engagement that went on with the teachers through the Twitter feed. I don't know enough to be dangerous yet with this, but I'm learning. All right, Facebook is another great option. But before you log in and use Facebook, make sure that you talk to your administrator and that it's okay. It's just really important to make sure that everybody's on board whenever you use social media. You can also communicate using Google Docs and Google Drive. We have covered that in a number of sessions, but Google Docs and Google Drive, you can create an ongoing Word document, for example, between maybe you and a parent of a student that you need to kind of monitor it a little bit more closely. A shared Google Doc where the parent can say, talk about the life outside of school, inside of school, and you can start kind of that ongoing dialogue. I wouldn't do this with every student, but that is an option. And what's nice about this, if you drive it to Google Docs and you're kind of in charge of it, you have everything in one place. Now, not for every student, of course, but then you'd have, instead of going, wait, was that an email? Was that a handwritten letter? This keeps everything right there, and you could also invite your administrator into the document if need be, or co-teacher or something like that. It's just another way that you can communicate with some of your families. Use images anytime you can. A tweet, I just read something last week. There's the chance of your tweet being open is 150 times more if you have a picture with it. Use images, use pictures whenever you can. This had me laughing. This is an Instagram account, a new Instagram account from live from snack time. It is a kindergarten teacher that is just saving the funny things that kids say every day, and then she is posting it. What kind of surprised me when I went there is if you take a look in the right corner, she has over 16,000 followers, mainly because it's hilarious. So I think what she's doing, I need to follow up. I think what she's doing, she's jotting these down, and then she's later on she's kind of finding the fonts and the colors and the graphics and making them kind of into little posters and telling you this is Instagram. Follow live from snack time because I, I I think I read every single one. I was laughing so hard. Picasa is another one to share images. Nice part about using Picasa, it's an image, it's a Google product. The nice part about Picasa is you can make web albums. So you can label your album for the school year, invite your parents into it, and then they can look at the pictures of the things going on in your classroom. A lot of people use this if they're not quite ready to jump over to social media yet. They're not there, so they use Picasa. But a combination of both, if you have the images, yay! Instagram them, do whatever you want. Just people love to see pictures of their students. And the pictures and the sharing and so on doesn't end in elementary school. So remember that. It's later in school when it's hard to get students to even talk about their day. So it's just another strategy. Video. More and more educators are embracing video, and video is such an important part of our students' lives outside of school. So let's embrace it. And video, a lot of times people don't think about Skype. And you could do Skype calls back and forth with different people, different groups. You can bring in experts from all over the globe. As an author, I'm constantly Skyping into classrooms, talking about the writing process, talking about writer's block. That's a good one to talk about. But Skype makes it possible for you to bring in outside experts, which is really cool. So, and a lot of people don't know Microsoft recently bought Skype. There's been some pretty major upgrades. It's, I hate to say buggy, but in the past, sometimes your calls would drop. It's much better now than it was. YouTube, get it out there. Be part of the millions of videos that are uploaded every hour. I can't even give you an accurate number how fast it's growing. But I'll showcase this awesome teacher, Mr. Anderson, that he is Bozeman Science. And he produces screencasts or lessons about pretty intense science. He does AP science. He does all different science. But what I love about watching what he's doing is I love that he's sharing his knowledge with the world. Anybody can come here for free and watch his videos, which is great. Continued sharing using video is the Khan Academy. Thousands of videos are there, but the nice part is you can sign up to be a coach. So a parent could be a coach or a teacher could be a coach. And the analytics and the data that comes out of the Khan Academy is amazing. It's better than anything I've ever seen on any standardized test, and it's real time. So you can find out exactly how long the student stayed on the video, what problems they still struggled with, and there's real hard data that you can share with parents and say, take a look. You know, your son or daughter is really struggling in this specific area. I've asked them to do, these 3 videos. Here's the data. You have everything right there, and it's so beautifully organized. So the Khan Academy, don't forget about that. Now this is interesting. As more schools are going Google Apps for Education, more teachers are starting to use Google Hangouts. Google Hangouts is similar to Skype, but when I was doing the research for this presentation, you can have up to 10 people in a Hangout. And so depending on what project you're working on with students, you can create a hangout with experts or whatever. What a great way to communicate. I had a teacher share with me that she does a family meeting and she uses Google Hangouts. She doesn't get everybody, but she can have 10 different people in the hangout at one time. And I think if like an 11th or more person comes in, I believe they can. Their video is not shown, but they can see the text messages, I believe. Might have to do a little more research on that. But you have voice and you have video together, and sometimes that's wonderful. I went back to that teacher and I said, well, why do you do that? And she said that it saves her so much time in the long run if she just takes, I think she only takes 10 minutes on a Sunday night, same time, same place, whatever. And then she doesn't get all those Emails. She said it has reduced her emails from parents so much just for that 10 few minutes that she does her communication. I thought that what a great strategy to use the technology. And you not only is there video, you can also do chatting in your Hangout. And so Hangouts are a lot of fun. And it's a great way also to do professional development. If you have multiple schools across your district, you could set a time and you can hang out with other teachers to learn together, which is really great. So I hope you have some strategies for communicating with families. Now, I don't want you to try everything. It's a little overwhelming. Maybe just start with Remind, and maybe we add in a Hangout maybe once a quarter or at the culmination of a project or something like that. Whatever, pick one, two, and try something new. Be amazing how your parents will respond to this type of using communication with technology. Thanks. And please, you're welcome to email me. I gave you that at the beginning, but you can always tweet me and I'll get right back to you. Have a great day.